Welcome to Python Bootcamp Series on the Tech Dialogue. I am Satyajish Shukla, your instructor. I am thrilled to have you here as we kick off this exciting journey on August 11, 2025 at 7 p.m. PST. Whether you are a complete beginner or looking to sharpen your coding skills, this free YouTube series is your gateway to mastering Python, one of the most powerful and versatile programming languages in the world. Over the next 8 modules, we will dive into everything from writing your first Hello World to building real time projects like a number guessing game, contact book, or even a weather app using APIs. Expect hands on lessons, practical exercises, and tips code like a pro. You will learn variables, loops, data structures, functions, file handling, and powerful libraries like NumPy, all at your own pace. All you need is a computer with Python 3 installed on or an online software like Replit or Jupyter Notebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our weekly videos. Let's code, create and conquer Python together. Drop a comment below to share what you are most excited to learn. I'll see you in module 1, coding. Welcome to this first lecture on Python. We are just here, we are trying to set up things. Uh, we are excited about learning Python. Python is a very versatile language. It is very easy to learn. And so what we are going to tools we are going to use is currently a REPL language like Jupyter Notebook. We'll use Jupyter Notebook to run all our Python codes. You can uh, and we will run the Jupyter Notebook in VS Code. Okay, so we'll learn. So I'll open the VS Code installation. So here is the VS Code installation, and and you can just go over here, new file, and open a Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook looks like this. So we can directly write our Python code over. So let us write our first Python code. So the first Python code is we'll just write a print statement, and that's what we do in C or any other language. So let us do it. Okay. So print hello world. That's it. We have to select the environment kernel actually. So I've got two of them installed, 3.8.2 and 3.13.7. So I'll use the latest kernel and it will execute. That's it. It is executing. Let us see. Yeah. You see the answer? Hello world. Hello world is printed. It is as simple as this. So you don't need to compile or do anything. it is an interpreted language. So you can use Python to create web applications. It is very popular. We can do, and we'll see as we go further in this course. We'll see different things. We'll uh, learn to create different things in Python. We'll learn file handling. We'll learn database handling. We'll learn built-in functions, strings, list and arrays, dictionaries, tuples, sets, files, Python keywords, Python exceptions, Python glossary, and other modules. Let us see, start with the introduction of Python. So what it is used for? It is used for web development, software development, mathematics. So it is used for web development, software development, mathematics, and system scripting. What can Python do? Python can be used on a server to create web applications. Python can be used alongside software to create workflows. Python can connect to database systems, can also read and modify files. Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex math. Python can be used to rapid prototyping or for production ready software development. Why we need Python? Python works on different platforms: Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi, and many more. Python has a simple syntax similar to English language. Python has a syntax that allows developers to write programs with fewer lines than some other programming languages. Python runs on an interpreter system, meaning that code can be executed as soon as it is written. This means that prototyping can be very quick. Python can be treated in a procedural way, object-oriented way, or a functional way. So, so it is a very diverse language. You can use Python in different ways. So here we are going to use in procedural way, but we'll see how we can use object-oriented way. We can we can create classes and everything. We can create functions, or we can just write direct procedure. So the most recent version of Python is Python 3, which we'll be using in this tutorial. And so there are, when you go on the web, let me show you. You can go on the web. So you can go on the web and you can just search Python. And here is your python.org. Here is your latest version of Python. So you can install the latest versions, okay, whichever is the latest stable release. And then, like, I've installed 3.13. That's the last one, active Python release. And on Windows, you can just directly download this Python installation manager, and it can install the latest Python release. So what the version I have got is 3.13. And you don't have to worry, your VS Code will automatically detect the Python version. You just have to set up the path sometimes. Maybe you have to set up the path, but it will detect the Python version over here. So once you run, you can select your kernel. From here, you can select the kernel 3.8 or 3.13. Now here, my Jupyter notebook is supporting 3.13.7. It has stopped supporting. So I'm using this one. So this is our first Python code, hello world. If you want to write a new code in Jupyter notebook, uh, you can just click this button over here, code. Okay, it will open a new window for you, and you can run a command over there, and then you can open another window. Okay, another area to execute, and each area can execute independently. Good thing about Jupyter notebook is you can execute each area independently, and it remembers what was executed in the previous area. So that really helps us. So you can create a function in one of these previous boxes, and it will be available in the next active uh, execution area. So you can then you define a variable here, it is available here also. Okay, so let us see, we will see how it works in practice. So hope you have downloaded your Python, okay, the most stable release, and then just installed it, and installed your VC code also. So let us start with the Python. So Python was designed for readability and has some similarity to similarities to the English language with influence from mathematics. Python uses new lines to complete a command. So you don't need to write a semicolon or any other syntax, okay? So it is straightforward. It is just a new line. You start writing in a new line, and you your you start a new command. As opposed to other programming languages which often use semicolons or parentheses. Python uses Python relies on indentation, using white spaces to define scope, such as scope of loops, functions, and classes. Other programming languages often use curly brackets for this purpose. And we will see in practice as and when we progress with our lecture. And so we are able to execute our first Python code over here, print hello world. Let's get started. You can, if so, before you start, like if you want to check what version of Python you are in, okay, so you can on Windows, what you can do is you can go to the command prompt, and on command prompt you can write Python minus minus version. Okay, it will show you the latest version. Okay, so here it is 3.8.2 version, but we have got 3.13 also, so I have to just see how to configure it. But yeah, it will show you the latest Python version, and this command can show you which version is currently configured on your Windows. But here also you can, when you click over here, you can select the Python version. Okay, now let us see if we write over here. Just execute it. It won't work here. It has to work on a, we can run our command here in terminal. Okay, so your VS Code also provides you terminal. Okay, we will, okay, so we can write, okay, Python minus minus version. Yeah, so it is showing 3.8.2. That it is showing in the Python terminal. So you can actually check the version from here also. Okay, so in our next class probably I will see how we can get this the latest version that we are using, 3.1, 3.7. Okay, we'll see that. But anyways, let us keep learning. uh, so let us start with some our basic Python syntax. So, so we will, as we go forward, we will be writing. So initially we'll be learning in Jupyter Notebook, but we can write Python command in a file also, the .py file. Okay, and then we can just execute it. That is another way of running a. But here we don't need to do that thing. We'll be using uh, Jupyter Notebook to run our. So here Python has very interesting thing. Okay, it has got indentation. Okay, so that is how it separates different commands, or maybe different set of commands. Like if I want to write a if statement, so if 5 is greater than 3, okay, 5 is greater than 3 tab, okay, we are writing print 5 is greater than 3, okay. So there is, so what we are doing, we are indenting, we are leaving some space, okay? And then we can write another print statement, print maybe 5 indeed is greater than 3, okay. So we have got two print statements, and we execute it, so both of them gets executed, okay? Now if I remove the indentation, I bring it, control Z, okay, I bring it in the beginning and then we execute it. Okay, just let us write uh, because it has to execute, okay, since 5 is greater than 3, let us write 5 is maybe less than 3, if that is the condition, okay, and we execute it, then it will print the second half of it, because this is not part of this block, okay. If I just add it to the above block, okay, it won't print anything since 5 is less than 3. So this condition doesn't satisfy, 5 cannot be less than 3, okay. So this is false. Since this is false, it will not go into this block, it won't print any one of them, okay. So this example demonstrates us that it executes. So if this condition satisfies, it executes this block, any block which is written indented in this way, okay. So you can have multiple commands below this print statement, and it will execute all of them together. So that's how Python. In other programming languages, probably you will be using a curly brace. In a C kind of language, some curly braces which we don't use. Now let us look at another example. We'll write it over here. Now, if we write it like this, will it work? If the indentation is not correct, okay, will the Python work? Will it throw error? Okay, let us see. It won't throw. It is working fine, absolutely fine. But these two blocks are uh, different blocks, okay. They are different blocks, okay. So it is working fine. But if I write a new piece of code and say, suppose instead of this we have written this, we remove this thing, okay, and we write it, okay. So this block, and then we have written something like this, okay, then it will throw an error, okay, because they're not there. What it expects is they have to be indented properly. It should be in line with the previous print, so then it will work, okay. Or it forms a new block altogether, then also it will work. There is no problem, okay. Now let us look at what is Python variable. So what is a Python variable, okay? In Python, you can directly declare a variable. You don't need to like in Java, in C, we need to tell the system what is the type of language we are working with, okay? Or sorry, type of data type we are working, like integer, float, or whatever, okay. But in Python we don't need to do that. We just write your x equals to 5, okay, and Python knows that x is 5, or we write y is equal to hello world. Python knows y is hello world. So Python knows that x is a integer and y is a string, and we can really check it, okay. So one important concept is Python remembers, since we have run this code, this piece of code, okay, If you execute it, Python will remember x is 5 and y is hello world. And we can check the type of x in the next block. Okay, let us check. Print type of x. Okay, so what data type x is? It says int. Okay, can you see the class int? Similarly, we can do print type y, and what it will say is string. So Python knows by the kind of data that you have assigned to a variable whether it is a int or a string. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Uh, so let us recap it. Okay, so what we were doing. So if 5 is less than 3, print 5 is greater than 3. Okay, or print 5 is indeed greater than 3. So here what has happened is these two, uh, one of the most important concept of Python is that it has to be in the same block. If 5 is less than 3, it will print 5. It since we are checking 5 is not less than 3, this is false. Okay, so it will print the next line. Okay, it will not print this one. Similarly here, it will print both the lines, which is fine. Okay, but if you go over here and you say if the indentation is wrong, it will throw an error. Okay, so the only way you can correct is you can either have everything in the same indentation, or you start a new block. Okay, so then also it won't throw an error. Now these are Python variables. X is equal to 5 and y is hello world. Okay, so here you don't need to assign a type of the variable. If you don't assign the type, like in C, okay, you need to have the type of the variable, whether it is an integer or a float or a string. So you need to tell what type of variable we are working with. But Python is a very intelligent language. Once you assign the variable a value, it knows the type of the variable. And you can really just print type X, okay, to get what type of variable it is. Okay. And when you execute it, what it will show? It will tell you that it is a integer. Okay. When you execute, suppose we want to check the type of y. Okay, y was hello world. Okay, it will show us it is a string. Okay, now the next concept is we just saw actually what I have done is I put a hash over here. Okay, what this hash did was it created a comment over here. Okay, so in Python, it is in any coding language actually, it is a very good practice to put some comment along with the code. Along with the code, it is very good to put some comment. Now, like, so how we will put comment? We'll just put a hash and we'll write something. Uh, this is my Python code. Okay? And the comments won't actually execute, but they help the users to understand what the code is doing. Okay? Now, if you want to write a multiple line comment, so you can write. So Either you can use hash again, and you say again this is a comment, so this makes it a multiple line comment, okay? Or you can use three double quotes, okay? And then you can write this is a comment, a multi-line comment, okay? So okay, so this is another way of writing a multi-line comment. Now, why this works this way, okay? The Python always ignores, okay? Ignore string literals that are not assigned to a variable. You can add a multi-line string in your code and place your comment inside it, okay? So this is a multi-line comment, okay? This is just a multi-line string, okay? So multi-line string is written by having triple quotes, okay? A single line string is just with double quote, okay? But when you use triple quotes, you've got three double quotes, okay? Sorry, not triple quotes, three double quotes, okay? So you can create a multi-line string, okay? And it can act as a comment for us, okay? Multi-line comment. So it won't really do anything, and you can just print hello world, and it will not execute any of the lines which were above, okay? And it will just execute the hello world. Now let us see the next concept, okay? So we have learned how to put comment, and you can put a comment after, you know, uh here, okay? This is my hello world program, okay? Now, and it still works, okay? So you can put a comment after a line of code, okay? Anywhere you want to put it, just put a hash and just put the line of where you want to put it. You want to have a multi-line comment, either use hash multiple times, or you can use triple, okay, three double quotes, okay? And so it is a multi-line string, okay? If you don't assign a multi-line string to a variable, Python ignores it, and that's how you can use it for a multi-line comment. Now, next thing we are looking at is Python variables. So we have already looked at few of the variables, okay? So which we have already done. So let us look at them again. So we'll put our comment over here. Say Python variables. Now it's very important. It's very easy. If I assign a variable x equals to maybe 10 and y equals to, AI is suggesting me something, but I will use my own. Okay, y equals to Satya, okay, or maybe Satyam. Okay, now we have got these two variables, and either I can print x, which is very common. Okay, so variable declaration is done. I can just print the variable, just print x, and maybe print y also, and then you just get straightforward. So you have assigned the variables, you have printed them, you want to check their type, okay? So you can check their type. Let us see. Let us execute this in another code, okay? And we will let us check the type, okay? typ type of, and then type of y also, and the type of x is in type x, type y. Got confused. showing string. So let me see type X only. Have we assigned X somewhere else? Okay. So we'll not use X and Y because we have already used them earlier. Okay. So we will use A and B. Okay. Let us use A and B. So this becomes A, this becomes B. Type of A, and let me execute it. Okay. And then what is the type of A? It is executing, still executing. Let us wait for it to. Okay. And then what is type of A? Now it is int. Okay. And what is type of B? It is string. Okay. So type of A and type of B. Now the problem here is that this particular command will just give us the type. Okay, it will give us single output. If you want multiple output, what we have to do is we have to print it. Okay, and we can print here also. Okay, so we have got the class int and string. Okay, so it makes our life easy. So now we know these are the Python variables. We can print them and we can see their type also. Now if I want to change the type of a particular variable, like a is equal to 10, okay, I want to make it a string. Okay, so I can do. Okay, now so I can maybe I can create a variable c, and or maybe c equals to uh, str, maybe a. Let us see. And now c is our string variable. Okay, and we can print c. Print c. Let us see what is happening. So when you print c, it shows 10. Okay, so which is the value of 10 we assign to a. But when you look at the type of the variable, okay, it will come as a string. Okay, let us see. We can, let me see, type. Okay. Print again type of a. Okay. Type of c. Sorry. So now c is a string here. Okay, although it contains a value 10, but the 10 is a string. So you can actually typecast a variable. Okay, or you can say maybe we can assign, suppose we want to assign the variable a, only. Okay, a equals to str10. Okay, now this is the typecasting of the variable. Okay, str10, or maybe y is a int, y, sorry, b equals to int of 20. Okay, and c equals to float of 30. Okay, now when you run these, what actually will happen? That's very important. Now this, let us run them. Okay, and then print them. So let us print them. print C. Okay, so let us print them, and what happens? Uh, so we can see the type is string, int, and float. Okay, type of A is string, B is int, and C is float. And when we just print A, B, and C, print A, print B, and print C. What we can do is we can put it in double quotes. A, A, so A, and then B, double quotes B. So we are learning another important concept, which is string concatenation. C, okay. Now, and we print it. Okay. Here it is giving some error. Okay, so we can't really do this thing. We'll see when the time comes. We'll learn it. Okay. So you can't concatenate B, okay, which is an integer. You can't concatenate B, this string. Okay, so that's why it is not working, and both C also. Okay, so let us not do that thing. We'll see later on how to. But A can be concatenated because it's a string. Okay, so that's a very important concept. Okay, so whenever you are seeing it, okay, you can't really concatenate. So, so when you are concatenating, you can concatenate only a string to a string. Okay, not a float or an integer to a string. So here, so let us see what values we are getting. Okay, so the float is 30.0. Okay, the value of C is not 30. Okay, it is coming as 30.0. The float actually is a decimal point value. Okay, and it shows. Now int is a 20. B, the value of B is 20. Okay, and A is 10. A is a string, and with string we can do string concatenation also. So that was an important concept that we learned. And we can't concatenate integer or a float to a string with a plus sign. Okay, so remember that. Now, so we have seen three variable types: int, float, and string. Okay. So now, what is important? Okay, a variable in Python. Okay. Now, next concept we are trying to learn is Python variable names. Okay, rules. So I'll put a hash over here, or maybe triple quote. Okay. Okay. So, so, so the first rule is a variable name must start with a letter or an underscore character. Okay. So it cannot start with a number. Okay. So it points to the same thing. A variable name cannot start with a number. Okay. Uh, a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. Okay. So you can have underscores and alphanumeric. and it can start with a letter or underscore, not with a number. Okay, like one, one, two, one ABC. You can't have a real number. You can have an ABC underscore one or ABC one. That's fine. The next is variable names are case sensitive. Okay? So a capital A is different from a small a. Okay, so your variable like age, this is a different variable, this is a different variable, and this is a different. Very important. There are three different variables. Okay, and last but not the least, it cannot be any of the Python keywords. Okay? So that is very important. It cannot be any of the. So this is the last. Okay, last thing. So this is and see what we have done is we have created a string, a multi-line comment also. So you now know how to create a multi-line comment. Okay? Now examples of variables can be legal variables can be. I'll just put some of the examples. One of the, I think first example can be my name equals to Satya. Okay, or maybe Satyam. Okay, okay, my name is Satya. Now the other variable can be my underscore name. So you can put underscore. Okay, can be Satya. Okay, uh, another variable name can be my underscore name equals to Satya. Okay, these are valid legal names. Okay, you can put underscore in the beginning. My name one equals to Satya. That is also fine. So you can have a alphanumeric my name. Okay, but one should not come in the beginning. Okay, my name equals to Satya. Valid, nice. Okay, so these are some of the examples, or maybe you can have my camel case character. Okay, my name equals to. So all these are valid variable names. Okay, now illegal variable names. So these are legal ones. Okay, hash legal variable name. Illegal, I'll put a hash variable name. So I'll put a hash over it. Hash one my name, okay, is a illegal. Okay, you can't use. Okay, now you remember that we can only use underscores. Okay, we can't use a dash. Okay, or whatever. Okay, so you can't use my name hyphen name. Okay, that is wrong. So that is another illegal name. Okay, or you can't use a space. Okay, or you can't use an at the rate. These are some of the illegal variable names. Okay, so and any other thing. Okay, you whatever you dollar at the rate or whatever you want to use, you can't use. Okay, so they make a illegal variable names. Now so one of the some of the important concepts, okay, especially while declaring variables, okay, we at times use multi-word variables. Okay, uh, multi-word variables. So what are the multi-word variables we can use? Okay, like the first one is camel case, okay, which is a very standard variable naming. Okay, like you will write my variable name is Satyam. Okay, now this is a camel case format. Okay, so and it is very commonly used format. Okay, now the first letter, okay, starts small, okay, and then subsequent words that you are using are, are capitalized. Okay, so initially, okay, initial capitalized. Okay, so your my is small, my starts with a small thing, but variable v is capital and name n is capital. Okay, this is a standard camel case. So each word except the first starts with a capital letter. Okay, just remember that camel case is each word except the first starts with a capital letter. Now, next is the Pascal case. Okay, each word starts with a capital letter. Okay, so in Pascal case, you will be using my variable name is Satyam. Okay, and each word will start with a capital letter. Now, these are best practices when declaring variables. Okay, and we should know about them. Okay, what are the best practices that are used? One is camel case, one is a Pascal case, and third one is a snake case. Okay, which is another variable. Snake case. Okay, okay, and I've been using snake case for some time. Okay, so it's very common way of writing, variable. So now snake case is each word is separated by an underscore character. Okay, each word is separated by an underscore character. Now, now it is my variable name is Satyam. So this is a standard way of writing a variable in Python. Okay, or Python or any programming language. This naming convention is independent of programming language. Okay, Python you can use, or C you can use, or any other like Java also you can use similar naming convention. Okay, so either camel case, Pascal case, or snake case. Okay? So hope you understand that what are the legal variable names and what are the illegal variable names. Okay, so in Python you cannot start a name with a, a number, or you cannot you can only start with a either an underscore a or an alphabet. Okay, either capital or small. The other thing is that uh, if you have got any of the letter within, like age, okay, so if a is capital, it forms a different variable than a small case age. Okay, the next is, now Python is very unique. Okay, it has got lot of short short shorthand formats. Okay, so if you are assigning variables, okay, either you can assign a variable x equals to, maybe we are using names. Okay, x is maybe David. Okay, x is David. uh, y is, what is y is Ram, and z is our favorite Satya. Okay, So we have got Satyam, okay? So we have got David, Ram, and Satyam. Now, so this is one way of assigning variable, okay, which is fine. And you can print them. Okay, so, and we have seen that how to assign them, okay? And you can just print x plus y plus z, okay? So since these are string, we can use string concatenation. And so we get David, Ram, Satyam, okay? Now, or we can just put a space over here, print it. So we get separate David, Ram, and Satyam. Now, if I want to assign these variable in a single go, okay, I can do it in Python, okay? So let me comment them here. So we'll use multi-line comment to comment this. Okay, this is commented, okay? Now I say x, comma y, comma z is David, Ram, and Satyam, okay? Now this should be perfectly fine, and we can just, still you will get the same result, okay? If you execute it and you get same result, okay? David, Ram, and Satyam. Okay, and if you can check it also, maybe we can change David with Shyam, okay? And you will still get the same result, okay? Shyam, Ram, and Satyam. Now, now Now, so this is one way of assigning values to multiple variables. So what it is doing is it is sequentially assigning the values. X is Shyam, Y is Ram, and Z is Satyam. If you want to assign same value to all the variables, okay? If you want to assign same value to all the variables, okay? Now, so what you can do is, maybe let us again hash it, okay? So what we have done is we have made it into a comment, and we say x is equal to y is equal to z, okay? And we say all of them are Satyam, okay? It is perfectly fine in Python, and it will print Satyam, Satyam, and Satyam, 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 okay? Perfectly fine, okay? So if you want to assign the same values to multiple variables, Python allows you to do that, okay? Now, so we will look at collections later on, okay? But I think we can have some understanding of so in Python we have something called a collection, okay? Now collection is not one value. There are multiple values. It's like arrays, okay? Different type of collections are there, like list or a tuple, okay? Or a dictionary. Python have primarily or a set, okay? So list, tuple, and sets, okay? These are different type of collections. Now we will study about these things in detail later on, but let us look at them, and then we can we can actually unpack a collection also. Now, in case, suppose we have got a list, so we can create a list with, so let us make this a comment, okay? Let us try to understand. Now, we have got a list, okay, of a list called friend, okay? Friends, okay? And the list is Ram, Shyam, and Satyam, okay? And all three are friends, okay? Now, what we can do is, if I want to have three variables and I want to assign uh, each variable subsequently, it's like, one by one, okay? Like X should have Ram, Y should have Shyam, and Z should have Satyam, okay? So we can do it quickly, okay? So you can create 3 variables from a collection or a list, right? And X will be assigned Ram, Y will be assigned Shyam, and Z will be Satyam. Now let us print this. Okay. So what we will get is Ram, Shyam, and Satyam. Uh, Straightforward. Okay. So this is another way of assigning from a list to separate variables. So you can separate data from a list into variables. So today we will stop at variables. Okay, we'll look at the variables, look at what are different type of variables, and then we'll pick it up from the next class again. Now let us go to the next one. So we hope you understood this thing. Okay. Now so what we have been seeing is let us look at what is output variables of output variables. Hash. We'll put a comment over there what actually we are doing. So we have already have so let us declare a variable X. Okay, so we already have X declared the previous example, but we'll again, okay, let us declare a variable X and we say X is awesome. Okay, and we want to print Python is awesome. Okay, now this will straight away print, okay, Python is awesome. Now I can actually have 2 more variables. Y, say it is fantastic. Z will say it is great. Okay, so we have got 3 variables. Okay, X, Y, and Z, which says awesome, fantastic, and great. Okay, and I can Python is I can just print all of them together. Okay, and let us see what it prints. Awesome, fantastic, and great. Okay, so you can just print the variables separated by comma. Okay, and then it will print them separately as a separate list. Now you can also use string concatenation also, but then what will happen is, since there is no space over here, so this will all come in they all will be joined. Awesome, fantastic, great. Can you see? This is very unreadable, so you have to add a space over here maybe. That can do the trick. Okay, or you can just print them separately. Okay, separated by comma as a separate variable. Okay, so Python will automatically introduce a space in there. Now it comes to the previous concept. Okay, if you remember, we studied one concept where we tried to join uh, uh, it's like concatenate a string with an integer and it gave an error. Okay, and so let us look at it again. Now uh, let us look at A is maybe 10 and B is and so you can have a string in double quotes or a single quotes. It is fine. Okay, if you write it in single quote, Python don't give an error. Okay, So you can write it in double quote or a single quote. So here I am using single quote. Okay. This is Satyam. Now, and I want to print, let us print A first. Okay. And it works fine. Gave me an error because I wrote a wrong spelling. Print A. It worked. Okay. Let us print B. And I was taking some. Yeah. So it has executed. Okay. So it has printed B also. Now let us print A plus B. Print A plus B. Now this will definitely give an error. You see, it printed 10 and Satyam, but then when it tried to print A plus B, it gave an error. Okay. Now how can either I can just make it a string. Okay. I can typecast it. Typecast A. Let us typecast A. Okay. And hopefully this should not give me an error. Okay. So it worked. Okay. Now 10 is a string. So it is able to concatenate it. So you can typecast it. Okay. So in case you think that you want to concatenate two values, two strings. Okay. So you can, or if you want to put a space, okay, in between. Okay. Let us put a space. Okay. We can add a plus space. If you want to, so now it is 10 Satyam. No. So what is happening is so this is a string. This is a string. Okay. This is a blank string. Now, if you want to, with just a blank space, if you want to concatenate two values, okay, different types, it is not possible. Okay. But you can change the type of a variable into a different variable. Okay. Which is allowed in Python. So now one more thing is Python has a concept of a global variable. Okay. So you can either, so let us look at a global variable. Now, suppose there is a variable we have defined a var. Okay, var is a variable, okay, which is I say var is hello world. Okay. Now, this variable in essence is a global variable because it is defined outside any function. Okay, so it will be available to all the functions. Okay, which are written after this variable. Okay, because it is sequentially executed. Once you execute this piece of code, your variable is available to the code. Okay, and it can be used anywhere. Okay, but suppose you are inside a function. Okay, uh, a Python function. Okay, so my function, and so this is the syntax for a Python function. Okay, def my function. You inside a function and you can write your code over here. Okay, and I want to have a variable hello from my function and then print the variable. This variable has this was the global variable. Okay. Okay, and this is a local variable hello from my function. Let us print both the variables, what actually is happening. Sorry. Okay, so let us run this thing. Print variable hello world, print I'll make a call to my function. So what it will do, it's still executing. Okay, so it has called my function. I've created a function, hello from my function. So this variable, this global variable, okay, when I printed over here, okay, it has not changed. The variable has not changed. And when I called my function, the variable actually changed. Okay. So let me again print variable after this, after the call to the my function. Okay, what actually happens? Okay, so you can see that this global variable, okay, the value has not really changed. This is the local value of the variable. This local variable is changing. Okay, now if I just remove this assignment, okay, and I say print variable, now it will say it is a global variable. Okay, now it will pick up the global variable only. Okay, so now you can see the how the variable is changing. Okay, so normally when you create a variable inside a function, that variable is local. It can only be used inside the function. Okay, to create a global variable inside a function, you can use the global keyword. So that is another way of creating a global variable. If you create a variable with the same name inside a function, this variable will be a local and can only be used inside the function. The global variable with the same name will remain as it was, global and with the original value. Okay, that is what we saw it over here. Okay, so here what we have tried to create a local variable with the same name as the global variable, but it really didn't change the global variable. Okay, so the global variable before calling the function remained the same, my hello world, and after calling the function, it is hello my function, hello from my function. And then when I again try to print the variable has not really changed. It is again hello world. Okay, you can see that. So So, so what it shows is the variable that are created outside of a function, as in all of the example in the previous pages, are known as global variables, and global variables can be used by everyone both inside of function and outside function. They are available to use. Now, but if you create a definition of the same variable again, okay, like variable is equal to hello from my function. So this creates a local copy of the variable. Okay, this is not the global copy. Okay, so if you create a variable with the same name inside a function, this variable will be a local and can only be used inside the function. The global variable with the same name will remain as it was, global and with the original value. Okay, so it has not really changed here also. Now let us look at another example. Okay, so we can actually create, let us look at one more example. Uh, a global variable. Okay, variable with global keyword. So this is the last thing that we are seeing today, okay, in this bootcamp. Maybe as we progress, we become better, okay. We'll be discussing more in depth. So global variable with global keyword, okay. Like uh, now we want a function, okay, def my function, and I define a global variable which is var, okay. I'll call it var1. We'll call it var1 and var1, okay. Now this variable I've defined as a var1 is a global variable, and I'm just printing it, print var1. Okay, and then I'm calling my function. Okay, uh, my, now now this var1 is a global variable. So let us do let us first try to Let us first try to do is call the function, okay, my function. So let us see what it does, what value it prints. Okay, hello from my function is being printed. Okay, now let us try to print var1. Okay, now since the variable was global, let us see. It is again printing hello from my function. Okay, now since the variable is global, it will still have the same value. Okay, hello from my function. Okay, so normally when you create a variable inside a function, that variable is local and can only be used inside the function. To create a global variable inside a function, you can use the global keyword. So that's what we have used. Okay, if you use the global keyword, the variable belongs to the global scope. Okay, also use the global keyword if you want to change a global variable inside a function. Now, now here what actually happened? Here what actually happened is this variable was hello world. Okay, you called the variable here. Okay, hello from my function. Okay, and you printed the variable. Now, what actually happened is your variable really didn't change. Okay, and when you ran it, what you can see is the variable didn't change. Hello world, hello from my function, hello world. Okay, the variable remains same. Now if I want to really change the variable, okay, I want to really change the variable, I will create a def. Okay, my function one. Okay, and I will call this variable. Okay, and say that it is now a global variable. I'm calling the global variable. Okay, hello from my function one. Hello from my function one. Okay, and what you get is a now your variable var will be modified. Let us print the var. Okay, let us do again the printing. Let us call the my function one, the new function that is there. So what we are doing is we are printing the first function and then the second function, and see what this new var1 becomes. Okay, this new var becomes. Okay, so let us see what we are. So we first got hello world, then hello from my function, hello world, hello. Now this is the second set which is coming up. Okay, now we got hello world over here. This variable is printed as hello world. Here we got hello world. Now here, so what we got here is hello world, hello world. Now what we got here is hello from my function. Now since the scope of the variable we made it global, now here also we will get hello from my function. Okay, is that all right? Now, but here what we are going to get is hello world, and again here hello from my function, and here what we are going to get is hello world. Okay, so just try to understand these nuances. Okay, how you can change the variable, the scope of the variable, and how you can call a global variable and change it inside a function also. Okay, and once when we will be discussing function, we'll discuss it more also. But then the idea of a global variable we should understand, and the scope of a variable. So by default, if a variable is not defined in a function, it is a global variable. Okay, anyways, thank you very much for today's session. Hope you enjoyed this. We will again connect with you future. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow us, okay, please like, subscribe, and follow us. Okay, thank you very much.